Celebrity Liar. My name is Andrew Hill Newman, and apparently we didn't scare her off last week because look who's back as my co-host, Valerie, Azlynn. The game we play here in the room is simple. Two celebrities are both going to tell you the same story as if it happened to them. In truth, it only happened to one of them. It's going to be up to you, the audience, to decide who's the liar.
And I will be here with you in the chat room, taking your questions and comments, forwarding them on to our celebrities. And after you vote, I will announce the winner.
Because you're going to vote for who the liar is, but you can't do that unless you're in the chat room page. So if you're watching us on the front page of theroomlive.com, click on that bar somewhere below my knees that says chat and view larger, and it'll bring you to a new page where you can do both of those things and vote for who you think the liar is. Tonight's celebrity guests, I happen to know both of them. One of them I met across a poker table. The other one I met across the equator on the other side of the globe. They are both really great guys and very talented and accomplished actors. From Reno 911 and the Academy Award-winning Happy Feet, Carlos Alazraqui. And from Scrubs and the big ABC hit The Middle, Neil Flynn. Now make the welcoming noise.
How are you?
I'm good, Neil. How are you?
Nothing but good thoughts for you.
Yes, you too.
Now they're being all nice.
Already.
Yes.
Are you prepared? I had a funny thing to say and I blew it. So we'll get right to it. Before the show, Neil and Carlos were off trading personal anecdotes. Our trusty producer, Robin Rouzan, has titled them and placed the titles within the now legendary bowl of stories. Neil was selected at random to go first. I am going to reach deep within the bowl of stories. We're going to put 2 minutes on the clock. And Neil, you will be the first one to tell us the story that we call, am I building the tension well?
Yes.
We call this story Exit Stage Right.
Ah, yes. I remember it well because it happened to me. In 1984, I was doing a play on Clark Street in Chicago. It was called The Hot L Baltimore. And we did it pretty much all summer, so I knew my entrances and exits pretty well. I would leave the stage at one point for a good 30 minutes. And it was just a storefront theater on the street. So if you exited stage right, you would go out into the lobby, which was 2 feet from the front door, which was across the street from a bar during matinees in the daytime, or at night, if the Cubs were playing at night, the Cubs game was playing in the bar. And the Cubs were having a big year that year. It was '84. They ended up going to the playoffs. I would have a beer and watch the Cubs, and had it timed out that's how much time I could take up until I got back into the theater and continued the play. One particular time, the Cubs are doing well. Most of my whole life they'd been a bad team. For the first time they were good, and they were scoring run after run. They'd come from behind. It was like a 6 or 7 run inning, a rarity, so I was enjoying it. Keith Moreland hit one into the vines, and I knew I had to get back to the theater, but I was, edging my way toward the door. The beer was long finished, but there's 2 outs. It's got to end now. What? Oh, another double, another two. Anyway, I finally thought, that's it. I got to go. And I pushed the door open and ran into the stage manager, who had, when he couldn't find me on the stage, somehow made his way across the street on Clark Street and must have gone door to door. But he had a wild look in his eye and said, "What are you doing? You're on!" And oh, hell. So ran across Clark Street, ran onto the stage. People that were supposed to be there were not there. People who weren't supposed to be on stage were. They'd been, I said, how long? Well, I told him on the way across the street, how long, how late am I? He's like, 5 minutes. 5 minutes in the real world is not long.
Wow. Professional actor, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Well told. But Carlos, I understand something similar may have happened to you.
Well, something actually happened to me. Chris Isaac's older brother. He's a good-looking man. You're lucky. And even though I am wearing Tiger Woods' red shirt, I am not going to lie. Nice thing about the Cubs, that was a good added detail that you borrowed from the real story, because it was 1989, in fact, when the Cubs were playing the San Francisco Giants. You at home remember that series, Will Clark, Matt Williams, going up against the fabulous Mark Grace. I'm doing a theater show called True West, Sam Shepard play with a comedian named Mike Meehan, right? And I was a stand-up comedian, and he goaded me into doing this play. And I'm like, I can't commit to a play. I'm a comic. I have free hours. I want to watch the Giants. But I committed to it. We were doing a play, and we had 2 shows on a Friday night, our first Friday night. One was a 7, one was a 9 o'clock show, because we would just whip through it. It was an abridged version. And I played the brother was that, you write that down. I don't even remember the brother's name, because that's how crappy of an actor I am. So we're doing the show on a Friday night. The Giants are playing the Cubs. It's one of those night games that it's just going down the wire, back and forth. Mark Grace hitting them out, Will Clark hitting them out. Going into like the later innings, I'm at a bar on Gary Street called O'Shea's, and the theater is on 6th and Gary, which is about 3 blocks away. Well, we finish our 7 o'clock show, so I run over, because we got like a half an hour break before we start. Actually, it was the 9:30 show. Got a half an hour before we have to get back, go over like this one section that we didn't have down because it was the first night. So I had to prepare for this, but I was so into the Giants game. Will Clark hits an amazing home run. It's probably about 8:45. I need to be there at 9 for this quick rehearsal. Well, I lose it. I said, Will Clark, he hit a home run. Unbelievable. The Giants win that night, and I'm drinking with these guys. I'm celebrating, and forget it. It was like Lost. There was Jack. There was Kate, people I knew from my past lives, and we're just drinking like crazy. And about 9:15 rolls around. Mike Meehan, the other actor, had to come and physically pull me out of the game, swearing at me, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to blow this play. But I'm like, the Giants won. The Giants won. And so I actually blew the entrance to my rehearsal, as it were, and we sucked the second show.
Wow. Wow. Well told, both of you. I have questions for both of you. If you have any questions, feel free to type them on into the chat room, and the lovely Valerie Azlynn will pass them on to Neil and Carlos. And if you want to vote, if you already know who the liar is, you can vote right there. And remember, they don't want to win this vote, because whoever wins the vote as Celebrity Liar is going to lose this round. My first question is for you. As a comedian jumping to the stage, True West? I mean, 2 guys who beat each other up while writing it.
Yeah, but it's an abridged version, right? So, and Mike Meehan, I trust him as a comic and an actor. We decided to put a spin on it where we got a little bit more comedic with it, because it's a pretty heavy play.
Going for laughs in the Sam Shepard.
Yeah, we went for Sam Shepard laughs in it, and then we saw him in The Right Stuff, and we realized we had made a terrible mistake.
You know, in England, they have bars in the theater, and a lot of the actors, I think, are known to go and have a beer. But you would go across the street during the show.
Yeah, well, as I said, this was a storefront theater and non-equity, so we're working for free.
Oh, so non-equity, you're allowed to drink beer during
I know you're
the show.
used to fancy setups like this, but we just had a storefront to do this play in. There was no beer.
And what role were you playing in the Hotel Baltimore? Do you remember?
God, the young, I don't remember the character's name. I was looking for my older sister. I was a young, I don't know. I replaced another actor named Mick Levitt.
I ask as if I know the cast list of Hotel Baltimore, which I don't. Say, Val, are there any questions from the chat room?
Yes.
Wow.
Quite a few questions.
Exciting.
I'm going to weed through them all here and do the best. We've got one from Lev's 1870. This one's specifically for Carlos.
Okay.
Will Clark's home run to the left, right, or center field?
Oh, dead pull hitter, left-hander. He's hit it to right field.
All right.
Good answer.
It might seem like I would know the answer.
This is Will Clark.
Right over me.
Beautiful swing.
Thank you.
Interesting.
And let's see, Celeb Poker Forever would love, would Neil watch the Cubs home games during the evening performances?
That's a good question, but the Cubs weren't playing night games at that point at Wrigley Field. They didn't start until August of '88.
Ooh.
And this is only '84. So they only watched it if they were. Yes.
Question.
That was a good
Ernie
question.
Banks.
Yeah.
Ryan
Say
Sandberg.
touche on that one.
That's a good question.
If you already know who the liar is, go ahead and vote. Remembering, they do not want to win this vote. They want you to believe them. But we can take one more question from the chat room if we got one.
Let's
Maybe you guys
see.
know already.
Yes, we do. Seventh Heaven LA. How long were the Friday night shows?
Oh, ours it was an abridged version, so they actually timed out to about an hour 10, even though that's like a 2-hour 2-hour plus play. But
Would you take an intermission in this, or you just?
Well,
do it
yeah,
straight?
we would. We would take that half hour to rehearse, and that's the half hour that I missed.
No, but I mean, like in between. Is it
No, it
2
would
hours,
just
you do it straight through.
Just straight through, so we wouldn't get complacent and forget our lines, which I did because I was celebrating in a bar 3 blocks away. O'Shea's.
I'm not buying that.
I'm not selling it.
I will tell you this. I have decided who I think the liar is this time, and I'm going to write it down and share it with the fellas. And why don't you go ahead and vote whether you think the liar is Neil Flynn or Carlos Alazraqui. I think this person is lying this time, and I've been getting better at this, so maybe I'm right. Who knows? Let's see if we agree in who we pick. Our crack staff is tabulating the vote as we speak.
Very nervous. I don't like being called a liar, by the way. I don't know what repercussions there will be, but
Say, Val, do we have a result?
We do. And the result is.
Oh,
No, we have a producer. Stop.
Wait a second.
Apparently
on.
you all are
What is this,
changing
Florida?
your mind.
Ohio?
Things are getting crazy here.
Oh, there was a hanging Chad.
yeah.
Look,
Okay.
a reference from 8. No, wait.
There was a lying Neil.
And
Nice.
all right, the vote is no. Things are going mad in this room here, people. I like it.
Perhaps you could do a little Hot L Baltimore for us while we wait.
Yes.
Oh, no,
A
wait.
scene.
Sure. It was a Lanford Wilson play.
Okay, it just flipped.
Ooh, they believed one of you, and now they believe
reversed?
another one.
Wow.
Yes, it did.
All right, so I'm gonna say the last and final here is 43% Neil.
43%
I think that I'm
means
lying.
that Carlos has 57%,
Very
which
good.
means that Carlos has been voted the liar.
Oh, I see.
You see, because 43% isn't
Yeah.
the majority.
It's very-
It's also a math show.
57% of you agree with me, saying that Carlos is the liar, which means that Neil, if you were telling the truth, you'll get 1 point for this, but if you were lying, you'll get 2. So please, will the real liar dramatically reveal yourself by raising your hand? Yeah. All right.
That was very dramatic. That was with a flourish.
So the score is 1-0. Neil Flynn is leading, and you know they're not just playing for honor. No. Yes, they are playing for honor, but in addition, they are playing for $26 million, or the possibility of winning $26 million in tonight's Mega Millions drawing, because this is the only prize I can afford. But I do hope that both of you win, and being the generous celebrities that they are, I am sure that they will donate a generous yet undisclosed percentage of their winnings to some worthy charity. So why don't we find out who they're playing for? Neil, when you're done swallowing, what charity are you going to benefit?
I'll be benefiting the Genesee Theater in Waukegan, Illinois. Hello, Waukegan. How are you?
And how about you, Carlos?
The Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. Hello, Children's Hospital in Los Angeles.
Both worthy charities. I just want to ask, if you were working at the Genesee Theater, would you go off and get a beer during Act 1?
Yeah, maybe that's a damning story I told that I would drink during.
No, it was early, and it
Research.
was the Cubs, and it was.
Exactly. I knew my part very well.
Yeah, and-
I want to know how I lost 43% of the people on that one.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
But apparently it flipped, because apparently they thought you were lying first, and then it switched.
I
and went
did
the other
something
way.
in the end. It's the Tiger Woods red.
I think that's what it is.
It is.
All right, we're going to move on to round 2. I'm going to once again reach deep within the bowl of stories. This time, Carlos will be going first.
Okay.
We're going to put a fresh 2 minutes on the clock. Carlos, please, your rendition of the story we call The Gun Shows in Town.
The gun shows in town. I was 12 years old. It was summer. I was on the swim team, swam at the pool every day, was friends with the guys named Mike and Paul, brothers. I used to hang out at their house all the time. Mostly played with Mike, the younger brother, my age. His older brother, Paul, was about 3 or 4 years older, my brother's age. Never came to my house. My brother had recently purchased a BB gun. My dad, not really liking guns at all, beyond Christmas Story. I hate guns. You're going to shoot your eye out, kid. Go on, Pop. So he reluctantly bought my brother this, I don't know what caliber BB gun it was, but it was a BB gun. And so we'd fresh come from the pool. I invited Paul over for some reason to go, hey, come check out this gun my brother bought. And then the final destination scene started to set itself in motion. We go into my brother's bedroom upstairs. My dad is downstairs reading a book in the den. We don't say, hey, we're going to go check out a gun. We go into my brother's room. He's got a single bed right over here. He's got a desk right over here, a drum set over here. Paul takes the place right in front of the desk. My brother sits on his bed. He hands Paul the gun. I sit down and face Paul. Now it's Final Destination. It's all lining up. For some reason, Paul takes this gun and cocks it because he thinks it's a pop gun. He thought it was a pop gun. And he says the words, andale, andale. I heard a pitak. And then all of a sudden we looked around and went, what happened? We heard a noise. And I went, this is me, man. This is me. My brother's like, shh, shh, my dad's going to hear you. My dad's going to hear you. No, our dad. Oh, he's going to hear you. Oh, please, shh. And so my brother's trying to dig it out with tweezers and not let my, Paul is gone. Out the house, swinging door, dust of smoke where he was. My dad finds out about it, takes the gun, smashes it on the brick front porch, takes me to the hospital. They had to really, really dig with special tools to get the BB out. I kept it, and we stitched it up and went to Baskin-Robbins ice cream to celebrate the fact that the BB was out of my head. And I didn't lose an eye.
And well timed. Well told and well timed. Don't know if it's true. I know that one person who thinks it's not true, and that would be you, Neil.
Yeah.
I suppose you have a similar tale.
Yes, I do. It happened to me, and it's not quite as dramatic as that. Nor do I have a plug for Baskin-Robbins at the end of my story. There was a kid named, can I say names?
Yeah.
Okay, there was a kid named Todd Campbell when I was
can't
about...
say that name.
Oh, sorry. I think to Earl Campbell. Yeah. There's a kid, his name was Todd Campbell, and I remember it well because he wore, he had a shirt, like a would be Hawaiian shirt, except it had Campbell soup. That's my plug, I guess. But it actually, he proudly wore this shirt, Campbell. He's like, we were only in fourth grade, it wasn't the most, the wittiest thing in the world. But he was from somewhere else, had recently moved to new to the school. He had sort of a southern accent and was kind of a cool kid. He was a year older than all of us because he had lost a grade at some point transferring schools. And I was somehow impressed by this kid. And so he asked me if I wanted to come over to his house after school. And yes, I did. I felt like I was being included, with a cooler kid than me. I went over to his house. It was he that had the brother. It was he and his brother hanging out. It was an older brother, older even than Todd Campbell. He had.
How could that be possible?
He comes in with it was a BB gun, and I was scared immediately, thinking this is not. Something's going to go wrong. Well, guns, very rarely does something end well when Todd Campbell's older brother has a gun. And so in short order, I was on the bottom bunk of a set of bunk beds that had like Western, like a half a wheel at each end, I recall that. And then heard a sound, like sort of a boom, and in the side of my head, felt like I'd been hit with a rock. And I thought it was just my hair, but it was wet, and a BB was stuck in my head.
Wow.
Mine is also stuck in my head.
Well told.
I love some kind of southern accent. Knew Todd Campbell really well, knew the shirt, never bothered to ask, where are you from, Todd? Oh, some kind of southern town.
Southern accent, yet Western detail on the bunk bed. So they were.
Southwest.
Yeah. I have to say, I was around 15 when I was shot in the head with a BB.
Really?
And it was in the back of my head, and it embedded, and I picked it right out. Alan Thal shot me in the head with a BB gun.
Where's he now?
I think he's back in New York or somewhere in the southern states. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have a couple of questions. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat room, and Val will pass them on. But if you already know who the liar is, go ahead and vote. And remember, they don't want your vote. They want you to believe them. So this was a pump rifle?
It was a pump BB gun.
And he said, andale,
Andale, andale.
Did he?
Andale, andale. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah. He never spoke Spanish or came to the house.
By the way, I'd also like to add, if anybody from Baskin-Robbins or Campbell Soup is watching, we are looking for a sponsor. So get in touch with theroomlive.com. So
Chicken noodle ice cream.
you don't go for guns. You knew this was going to be trouble when you got there.
Yeah. Well, either I was just a scared kid, or our parents had stressed that guns are bad. Blah blah blah. I don't think anyone ever owned a gun, not a real one, not a fake one, when I was in our lives.
Here's the thing, and I know this story has to be true for one of you, but when I was shot in the head with a BB rifle, I was quite a distance away, not just like in a bedroom. And so let me ask you, when it hit you here, was there blood?
There was a tiny, it was so embedded and so deep that there was just a little kind of crack, and so there was a teeny sliver of blood. So no one, if we would have shut up, hey, you would have just shut up, we would have got away with it. No, there's a BB stuck in the middle of my eye. I'm not going to shut up. So no, there was not a huge amount of blood.
Well, lucky it wasn't.
It was that close.
Wow. And you, any blood from the side of your head?
Just enough that I felt like what a spitball would do. It was moisture, but not running. It was just enough to make my hair a little bit wet.
Val, anybody in the chat room got any questions?
Yes, they do. We have a question here from Tamdy Van. Carlos.
Yeah.
What punishment did your brother incur?
My brother was, I believe, well, as I said, my dad smashed the BB gun on the porch, so no gun once for all, and I think 2 weeks grounded. I think that's what happened there. So no more guns for the rest of his life. Smashed gun, 2 weeks grounded.
I'm sure the worst part of that was the smashed gun, because that's a
Yeah, it was weird how violent my dad got. It was like, boy, you really don't like guns. So yeah, it was weird. It's like, yikes, way to go, Dad, or maybe not.
I'm not sure who's lying. If you are, go ahead and vote, but I'm still making up my mind. Val, any other questions that might help me discern the truth?
Well, we have a question. Basically, I think it's kind of a me question too. Are you friends with Todd still? How's Todd doing?
I never saw him again after that year. I never went to his house again. I can tell you that. He was.
Well, he shot you.
His brother shot me, but still, yeah. That's my policy ever since. You shoot me, I'm not coming back to your house.
Unless it's
No
on camera.
sleepovers
it.
with weapons.
Right.
I think that's good.
Man, okay, I've made up my mind who I think is lying this time, and it's pretty much a guess. If you know, go ahead and vote, because our tabulation machine is clicking away.
That's me doing
It is
on
clicking.
an imaginary screen. Doing it really fast.
Val, do we have any more questions, or do they already know who the liar is? I think this person's lying. That's who I think is lying.
Well, we do have a question. We have it from Tam DeBan. Carlos.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wait a minute. Oops, sorry.
Are you lying?
Carlos, are you lying?
Cut straight
Actually, I read that wrong. It's Regina P.H.A. Lang.
Regina Phalange, we love her.
Oh, Regina Phalange. Sorry if I said it wrong.
No relation to Bruce.
Let's see. Hold on. Oh, I'm totally messing these up here. My computer's going crazy. Actually, I'm sorry. Boston Tracy. As I name everybody in the chat room. Hi! Who's blonde? Okay, Boston Tracy. What brand was the BB gun?
It was the classic Daisy, I believe. Daisy air rifle.
Seems like such a nice name.
You know what? That was a
For
good
a
answer,
gun.
especially when, because I don't think BB guns come in different calibers. Because I think a BB is a specific size. And earlier you said, I don't know what caliber it was, but I'm not going to pick on you.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we have time? I don't know the brand because I wasn't holding it, and I don't think any victim of a crime has ever asked who made the gun. You don't know who made it? Get out of here. You're not.
Unless you've seen the movie Micmacs by Jean-Pierre Junot, where the victim of a gun shooting finds out who made the gun and who made the mine that blew up his father in the war. It's a very good movie. I love French movies, so look.
Someone else was,
Micmacs, Jean-Pierre Junot. Well, what are you looking at?
someone else was just plugging Micmacs to me last week.
It's very good.
It's really weird. That's a small
bien.
world. Go ahead and vote, because we're going to cut off the tabulation. But am I changing my mind now? No, I'm sticking with mine. Let's see if we agree.
You could be, who knows?
Val, do we have an answer?
Yes. 80%. Neil is the liar.
Oh, I agree with you 80%. I do indeed. Not just because of the detail. Let's see if we were right. Will the real liar please dramatically reveal yourself by raising your hand?
No? You're just gonna... I did it!
Ah!
Told a lie. 80%. Wow, I didn't fool anyone.
Wow. Good story. I love Todd Campbell.
Yeah?
And then you threw an Earl cabinet on some Houston Oilers.
You know what's good was the drums and the thing. The room was very specific.
Yeah, I remember it well. It was a pretty freaky moment, actually. I'm very lucky.
I'm sure.
Right here.
Yeah.
That's bad.
And the glass eyes back then weren't any good.
No.
Wow.
It looks very natural.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a tie game. It is 1-1, which
Wow.
means it's all going to come down to the lightning round. And the lightning round works like this. Both Neil and Carlos were kind enough to send me lists of facts and supposed facts about themselves, some true, some false. And I have culled some of them at random and put them on these nifty cards. I am going to begin with Neil reading his, and it will be up to you, Carlos, to answer like lightning to each one. Do you think it is true or lie or false, whichever way you want to go with that. So please, you'll read these, and after each one, like lightning, because it's the lightning round, true or lie.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah, I'm watching his face.
Okay. I have Dave Matthews' phone number.
True.
I was married for less than 3 months.
False.
I didn't shave until I was in college.
False.
I was the tallest kid in 8th grade.
True.
I have a knife collection.
True.
Interesting. We will see how well he did in a moment. Now it's your turn, Carlos, to read these. Let me get my answer key so I can follow along. And please, like lightning, Neil, to respond true or lie.
My face, poker. All right, number 1. I was bitten by a rattlesnake in Run Canyon while walking my dogs.
False.
I've never smoked pot.
False.
I threw up on Space Mountain when I was 15 and I sprayed the other riders.
True.
I have done the let me try again. I have done the 16.4 mile day hike to the top of Half Dome twice in the last 4 years.
Oh, so what? Yes. True. Big deal.
I have over 700 skydives.
False.
Interesting.
This is hard.
Very, very
no
interesting. All right, we are going to start with Neil's lightning round.
Come on, baby.
You're going to get 1 point for each one you get right. Neil said that he has Dave Matthews' phone number. You said that was true. It is false. He doesn't have that.
Oh, man.
Never met the man.
But it was a good
my
lie.
wife would have been calling you right after the show.
Really?
Yeah.
You said it was not true that he was married for less than 3 months, and it was indeed not true, so you do get a point for that one.
Nice.
He said he didn't shave until he was in college. You said false, but
I was a baby.
it's true.
Irish. That's right.
No point for that.
I was thinking Italian and then Flynn is Irish. I blew it. Irish.
He said that he was the tallest kid in 8th grade. You said true, and there was
I
somebody
was
tall.
about 5'2".
Wow, he had not spurted yet.
I was little.
And for some reason, he looks like the kind of
See,
guy that would have a knife collection.
If I would have got the
yeah.
shave part right, I would have got the tall part right.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
miss that, and you also miss a knife collection because he does not have a knife collection. You got 1 point. The score is now 2-0, which means you need to get 1 correct to tie him.
I still don't like my
2 correct
chances.
to beat him. He said he was
did.
bitten by a rattlesnake in Runyon Canyon while walking his dogs. You said that was a lie. It is indeed a lie, so you get a point for that. We're all tied up. He said he never smoked pot. You said he does look like someone who smoked pot, but you know what? It's true. He
Yeah.
has never smoked pot.
420. I know all the lingo, but
He said he threw up on Space Mountain when he was 15 and sprayed the other writers. That was a lie, so no point for that one. He said he had over 700 skydives. That is true. You thought it was a lie.
Yeah.
So
did
you
just as
need
poorly.
to get this last one right.
Oh.
He said he climbed Half Dome twice in
So
the
what?
last whatever. Please tell him. He said it was true.
Yes.
It is true. 2 points. Neil Flynn wins by 1 point.
squeaker.
3-2.
My goodness.
A very close
Excellent match. Excellent match.
Carlos, just for playing, you and the Children's Hospital are going to get one chance at winning $26 million in tonight's Mega Millions. But you, Neil Flynn, and the Genesee Theater get 5 shots
5 of them.
at winning $26 million. I hope you both win something, not only
Thank
for
you.
your charities and yourselves, but because it would be great publicity for the show. So
absolutely.
please, I hope those numbers are lucky. I would like to thank our celebrity guests very much. They were both great. I would also like to thank Valerie Azlynn for doing a fantastic job in the chat room.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I want to give a special thank you to the indefatigable Melanie Marquez for doing such a great job helping out the show. Thank you very much, Melanie. I would like to remind you that if this is the first time you've been in theroomlive.com, come back, not just on Tuesdays for Celebrity Liar, the bestest, most interactivist game on the internet, but also on Mondays and Wednesdays and They got cooking shows, they got comedy, they got live music galore. Check out the archives. There's some great stuff in here. There's women talking about sports. Come back. The Room Live is rich with entertainment. I would like to thank Robin Ruzan, Michael Davis, Matt Edwards, and everybody else in the Room Live that makes this a possibility. But most of all, I want to thank you for clicking on us and watching. I hope you had a good time. Good night.
Wow.